Hello and welcome back to my domain of dyspraxia. This week I'm making a series of videos for Dyspraxia Awareness Week. This is the second one, so if you want to watch the video that I uploaded a few days ago, then check out my channel. It tells you what dyspraxia is and, gives you some signs that you might have it and a little bit of basis of what might cause it and how you can be helped. Today, the focus is going to be on neurodiversity and what is that? So, here we go. So, you might have heard the term neurodiversity being thrown about quite a fair bit. So, neurodiversity is basically the concept that everyone's brains work differently and there is no right or wrong way for someone's brain to work. So many different learning differences fall underneath the umbrella term of neurodiversity, including dyslexia, dyspraxia, and also things like autism and ADHD. The reason that neurodiversity is so helpful for people is that it kind of allows them to accept their condition as an identity as opposed to medicalising it. So you can accept that your dyspraxia or your autism is a fundamental part of who you are and not something that can be removed. For example, people with dyspraxia or autism might prefer to use identity first language as opposed to person first language. Identity first language is where you refer to someone as a dyspraxic person as opposed to a person with dyspraxia. Now, the reason why people might prefer this is that it implies that their dyspraxia is a fundamental part of who they are and not something that can be put down or removed, which is very helpful when explaining the dyspraxic experience to other people. So it's Dyspraxia Awareness Week, so why am I bringing other types of neurodiversity up? Well, there is a lot of comorbidity between dyspraxia and other neurological conditions. For example, it is estimated that around 80% of autistic people are also dyspraxic or at least share dyspraxic traits. Meanwhile, 50% of people with ADHD are also dyspraxic. So as you can see, there is a lot of overlap between these different conditions. Dyspraxia is also commonly comorbid with some physical conditions like hypermobility. Up to 50% of people with hypermobility are also believed to be dyspraxic. And also a lot of the symptoms of these conditions tend to overlap with each other. So you might find shared symptoms between conditions like special interests or maybe a lack of focus or problems with social skills. So I thought I'd give you an overview of some of these other neurodiversities so you can better understand them. Because why not? So the first one, which is one that most people have probably heard of, is autism. So what can autism affect? Well, autism can affect your social skills. It can mean that you struggle to make eye contact. You might not necessarily understand how to act within a social setting. You might talk a lot about something that particularly interests you without realising if the other person wants to actually hear about that or not. You are possibly very kind of rigid in your thinking. You might have very black and white values, and you might also have a lot of empathy or not much empathy at all. You can probably focus on things for a very long time, especially if it's something that you're interested in, and you might have special interests, which are also known as passions, where you are particularly interested in one particular thing. So that might be a particular game or maybe a species of animal, and so you want to know everything there is to know about that one thing. Another very common factor of autism is that you often require quite a strict routine. I've also heard that it gives you good memory too. If you have ADHD, or you're an ADHDer as some people refer to it, then you might find that you have a lot of energy but not really anywhere to put it. You might find that you talk a lot or you fidget. You might have problems with concentration. You might find that you daydream or you're more willing to take risks because you're constantly looking for dopamine, which you lack. You might move from task to task without finishing it, or you might struggle to do smaller tasks that don't give you the same feeling of dopamine that you would get from a larger task when you finished it. Another quite commonly known one is dyslexia, which mostly affects your ability to spell or write words or read, you might find that you mispronounce words, or you struggle with focusing, or you might misremember specific dates. It also comes with organisational issues, and you might also find that you have intuitive thinking, where you know that you've got an answer for something but you don't quite know how you got there. As you can see, many of the symptoms actually overlap between different conditions, and this means that the boundaries between different types of neurodivergency are not necessarily clear-cut. As a result, you might fall under one piece of diagnostic criteria for one condition, when in fact you might actually have multiple conditions going on at the same time. This is often called co-occurrence. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Maybe comment below and let me know if the neurodiversity label helps you, whether or not you identify with your dyspraxia as, you know, a personal part of who you are. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.